by the time I record a satisfactory review of this goddamn book, it will be dark and there won't be any daylight. So I guess I will have to either continue recording tomorrow or just quit altogether on it. Hello, welcome or welcome back. And in case you have not noticed, my frustration is at the peak level with myself mostly. I have been trying to record a review of this book that I read yesterday, but at the same time, I have been struggling to formulate my thoughts, and mostly my thoughts that are revolving around how frustrated I am with this novel. But now I'm even more frustrated because as I was about to edit one of the videos that I was satisfied with, I saw that the shirt I was wearing had a hole in it. So we can't have that, can we? So I had to change my shirt. And it is one of the shirts that I haven't worn in like 2 years. And I thought, okay, let's just wear it now for the video. And I put it on. And what do I see when I'm editing the video? I see a hole in my sleeve. And we can't have that, can we? So now I have to do this thing all over again. So hello, welcome or welcome back. I hope you're doing well, better than me at least. If you can hear some noises, background noises, that's just my neighbors. So we will go with the flow, I guess. I don't know what else to say. The novel that I read is called On Earth as It Is Beneath by Ana Paula Maya. Obviously, 5 times trying to record myself and repeating the title of the novel has not helped me remember that, and just the fact that I have carried this book for like 5 days in my bag hasn't helped me with that either. So the novel is set in supposedly Brazil, in a penal colony. It opens up with this very climate crisis induced scene where animals are dying, there is very little water, the soil is totally desolate, completely dry, there's almost no life that is able to survive the conditions that exist. And forgive me for the changing light. This is just because the weather in Slovenia has been, I'm not even sure how to describe it. Yesterday we had a lot of wind, and today we have also a lot of wind, and it's cloudy. So that's why the light might be shifting. So let's get back to the book. We are following several characters. These are prisoners and also a guard and a warden. And we are thrown into the world of violence that is perpetrated before these men ended up being transferred to these colonies. It is apparently some form of dystopian future where these colonies have become a norm, and a certain number of prisoners is transported every year to these penal colonies to serve the rest of their time. Most of them have committed brutal acts of violence, and it does kind of try to show the rationale behind the brutality that they are facing in these prisons. Namely, as a reader, you are exposed to the logic of those who are in charge of keeping the prisoners inside the prison. And their logic is that they have committed very violent crimes and that they deserve to be punished for it. It's a form of justice. At one point, the warden of the prison decides to play a little game with the prisoners. So he starts to hunt them down. Basically, the rules of the game are he takes off their ankle monitor, which is said to blow off their limb if they try to set their foot outside of the prison walls. And this is something that is keeping them in check. It is the way the guards and the warden are keeping the prisoners under control. This message has obviously a very powerful psychological impact on them. And once he takes the ankle monitor, he gives them 30 seconds head start for them to try to run away. And he slowly starts hunting them down while in his jeep. It should be noted that this penal colony is actually has very high walls, so it is in a material sense a limited area. It is a large area, but it is still bordered by the walls. We are at the same time trying to make sense of this violence. You are at one point given the reason why the warden decides to play this game, and it is mostly for him to try to gain some sense of control over the situation that he has no control. They are in the moment of time when the main story is taking place, waiting for an official to come to kind of let them know what's going to happen to this prison, where the prisoners are going to be taken, because they are in the process of shutting these prisons down. And of course, she is exploring also the brutal history of slavery in Brazil, as this penal colony was built on a former slave prison or a former plantation where slaves were working. Frequently, when prisoners are trying to bury the dead, the ones that the warden had killed during this chase game, they encounter old bones and fragmented skeletons. Frequently, some of them are found with their hands and legs tied. So it is a clear message that the prisoners are getting, that there is no way you will escape this place, no matter what you do. What is my issue with this novel? My issue with this novel is that the prose is good. I don't have any issues with that. But my issue is how she is using violence as a form to kind of convey this message of how systemic violence works. What I mean by that is that she has these very explicit descriptions of how violence is inflicted, the cost of violence, and the outcome of the violence. And we are also given very gory descriptions of bodies, human and non-human, of skeletons, of any detail you can think of when it comes to violence that was done on these bodies. And she's trying to actually give us a message that it is very, very difficult to break away from this cycle of violence. But from my own perspective, I think this could have been done in a very different way. And one of the reasons why I chose not to read Of Cattle and Men is specifically because the novel is centered on a character who's actually the main character in this one as well. And he works in a slaughterhouse. And obviously, there's a lot of descriptions of brutality of the life and work in a slaughterhouse. And I think for the time that we live in, we are obviously exposed to this kind of daily content coming from different regions of the world. We are living a reality that is very violent, to different degree for each and every one of us. from my personal experience, I come from a country where a particular form of violence is also normalized, or there is an attempt to normalize it. Yeah, so I think for someone who is experiencing violence on daily basis, who is seeing violence, who is being exposed to it, who reads a lot about it in my day-to-day work, I really don't have a need to read novels that use violence to the point of absurdity. It's not anymore, it's not even a tool, a literary tool to convey some kind of a message, to convey some kind of underlying philosophical thesis. It's just violence for the sake of violence. And it's become this fetishization of violence. And for me, it's just the novel has lost its value because of that. I really think this could have been done in many different ways. We have works, literary works, that have conveyed these kind of messages without using this gore, descriptive gore. So tell me what you think if you have read the novel. I would really appreciate your thoughts. If you disagree, I would also like to hear your points. And maybe if I inspired you in a very non-inspiring way to pick up the novel, to read it and prove me wrong, then that is also an achievement for me and a compliment as someone who reviews books. But yeah, let's have a chat about it. I'm very curious. You can obviously see my frustration, or more like hear my frustration in the review. Okay, thank you for watching. Bye.